A lot of people have been having issues with their Peugeot cars after watching their engine bay. On very few occasions, I'll get a message or mail, or even vehicles, Peugeot cars that are brought to me, and the complaint will be that they watch their engine bay, and all of a sudden issues started harassing the vehicle. Yeah, you could use those words. Yeah, started harassing the car, from left, right, center. I know I've done this video before, but I will probably just do another one. Or maybe I didn't do a video, or maybe an article. I know I've been talking about this over and over, maybe 1,000 times. So I just want to do it a second time. The reason why this thing came up was an article I wrote about my Peugeot 406, the anniversary that took place yesterday. So this the engine bay of the vehicle, my Peugeot 406 V6. So I posted it, and someone now was asking, how did this engine look this clean, as if it was still a brand new car? How I was washing the engine and the rest. Anyway, now let me explain. Yes, you can wash your Peugeot engine even with water. It's not the safest way of doing it, but it can be done. However, there's a safe way of doing it. But before I get to that, I will also encourage any Peugeot user. If you have any Peugeot car and you don't have the user manual, or what we also call owner's manual, go and get it. Don't assume that you understand everything about that car, so you don't need to read that manual. You are deceiving yourself. You are deceiving yourself if you think that, because you use a Peugeot 406 in the past, and you eventually upgraded to Peugeot 407. So it's basically the same thing. So what do you need the manual for? No, you are deceiving yourself. You enter into trouble someday. There are differences in user manual. There are instructions you will find in a user manual that is for a different model of the same brand of vehicle, which will be different from another model, probably produced the same year, of that same brand of vehicle. I'll give you an example. Peugeot 508 W2, the early or the first generation. The space you get on the user manual, you find where it stated how to disconnect the battery. Two ways or two methods of disconnecting battery, depending on the transmission model in that particular vehicle. There is one that you could just spend only 5 minutes to disconnect. You wait for 5 minutes, disconnect, and probably after a minute you reconnect. While there's another one that you wait for like 5 minutes and disconnect. Then before you connect back, after you've connected back, you must wait for at least 13 or 12 minutes before you switch on ignition. While the other one, you did not give that instruction. So don't make any assumption that you understand that car until you go through the manual. Very, very important. The manual means whoever that produced that vehicle, in this case Peugeot, have done some explanation in that manual, at least the basic things that a user, if followed, will never have issue with that vehicle, based on the systems, the electrical system, the mechanicals, and the rest. So they considered all those things and put those information in that manual for you to at least go through, or you can also refer to when you need to clarify something. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is, for example, let me see. Now, this screenshot was from a Peugeot 301 user manual. Now, read it. It said, To avoid damaging the electrical units, never use a high pressure jet wash in the engine compartment. Maybe in some other Peugeot cars, you may not find this instruction or warning in the manual, but in this particular vehicle user manual, it was warned, never use a high pressure wash. Of course, if you don't know what they mean, this is another way to look at it. It's not actually clear here, but if you have a Peugeot car that was produced, I think from either 2002 upward or so, I know it's from sometime in the 2000, early 2000, that they started to put this sticker in the engine bay. For example, you find this one in Peugeot 407, I think, is it Peugeot 307, maybe the phase 2, the T6, or even the phase 1, the 607 phase 2. There are so many Peugeot cars you see this one, but not all. And what does this thing mean? You can look at, like I said, it's not really that clear. But if you look at it very well, you see that it's a drawing of a human being, holding a high pressure water pump or jet, spraying, and they now cancelled it. You can see a red cancel, which even if you do not go to the manual, you understand what this thing means once you open your engine bay and see it. Do not do this in your engine bay. That's the meaning of that warning. So this is what the user manual was also stating, high pressure jet wash. So let's go back to this. The reason why I believe, in fact, I have seen and confirm that Peugeot says don't use those high pressure jet wash or high pressure water pump to wash or spray in your engine bay, because these cars are now electrically controlled. Yes, they are not full electric vehicles, but the mechanicals too are electrically controlled or monitored by the computers. Yeah, we call them ECUs, but they are actually computers in their own way. So imagine how a computer and water, what you think will happen when you throw in a water in a computer, or what a computer receives signals from. These sensors and electronic components in the engine bay are controlled electrically. It's just like when you go to what do I call it? Electric pole. Yes, that's a very good analogy. You go to electric pole and then you maybe not electric pole, you go to your house where you have where is it called? Where you do changeover. You change from NEPA to what we call NEPA, or as a power supply. So you change that, you go there and pour water on it. What do you think is going to happen to that place, or even your entire house? That's what I mean. The ECUs, they are receiving constantly, once the ignition is on, they are constantly powering and receiving signal from some of these electronics or electrical control components attached on the engines. So spraying water in there and expect those computers to work very well is a very, very, very big risk that you could lose the entire vehicle, not just burning your ECUs. You will lose that vehicle if it caught fire or something. So anyway, that's aside. Now, how do I wash my engines? There are so many ways you can wash your engine bay without damaging it. One of the safest ways is what they call, what's the name? Steam wash. You could do a steam wash. You have to spend, so it's not even expensive. You just take it to where they do steam wash. They will steam wash your engine. It will look as clean as this. However, my own way of doing it is this. Anytime I want to wash my engine, in fact, to be honest, I wash my engine like once every 6 months, or minimum of 4 months, but on average every 6 months. For sometimes it exceeds the 6 months. I can remember there was a time I think it was once a year that I did that time. I washed the engine bay. So at least every 4 6 months, or anyway, depending on where you stay, how dusty it is. But in my case, I don't even care how dusty my engine looks, So, but it's not always dusty anyway because of my environment. So I watch it like once every 4 months. And when I want to do it, what I do is I'll cover some places. Of course, first you have to understand the engine first. There are some porous places that you need to cover, which may differ from another engine. You need to check the location of your alternator, check the location of your ECUs, check the location of your motorized throttle body. There are some sensitive components, electrical components, that you need to check where their locations, how they are mounted, which parts to cover, so I won't get to this or this or that, stuff like that. Now, for this engine, there are places you could cover. Then there are places that you don't even spray water at all. Yes, when I'm washing, I don't touch water on those places. Later on, I'll just use a rag, a wet rag, probably with soap, and then wipe those places. For example, this is an intake manifold. Let me zoom it. This is the intake here. I don't touch this place when I'm washing the engine bay. How do I wash it? I just get a bucket of water, put detergent in it, put some, sponge or something, and then cover the places I need to cover. Then I start scrubbing. Yeah, you could say scrub, or use it to start to clean any part of the vehicle or engine bay your hands could get to. Here, I don't touch it. You know why? If water touch this intake manifold, any part of it that I touch, you see this particular place, how many? 1 2 3 4 5, these 5 gaps in between the six channels. You can count it 1 2 3 4 5 6, because it's V6. So that 6 channels where air passes to get into the combustion chamber through the valves, those gaps in between them, once water touch that place, it will just slide down. It will flow down and go towards your spark plug chamber with the ignition coil. It will just flow from here. We just go there and then enter there. Guess what is going to happen? It will cover the entire place. Then somewhere here, I don't know, at least here, in between the intake manifold and the timing chamber, the timing chamber cover, the rear cylinder here, no matter what you do, don't let water get to that place, because if water gets to, for example, the water that will pass from this intake manifold chamber will go and settle on the bank 1. It will go to the bank 1, what's it called? The bank 1 spark plug and ignition coil chamber. While this particular side and then this side, this gap in between the intake manifold and the motorized throttle body. If you spray water, or if you are watching a water just pass through in between these 2 gaps, like this one too, what is going to happen is water will now go and settle inside cylinder 4 and the cylinder 6 spark plug and ignition coil. It will go there and flood it. So in that case, you will be forced to, after washing your engine, if you made that mistake and let water enter there, you will now be forced to remove everything, remove the intake manifold, and find a way to suck out that water there. In fact, you will be forced to even to remove the spark plug, and some of the water will go flow into the combustion chambers directly on top of the piston. That's why when people say, oh, they take it, I'm an expert, then I know how to clean, they will take it to all these people that clean, wash, and what's it called? engines with all those high pressure something. How do you think it's going to, if they use that high pressure jet water, how do you expect water not to flow into that place? No matter how the person thinks it is good, it is very good, that it will prevent water from. This is something that goes before and splashes. So don't ever try that here. So what do I do? Then I start scrubbing. Like I say, I avoid some of these places that I talked about. Then when I'm done, in fact, even this cover, this engine cover, plastic cover that is in the aluminum shape, I won't touch it. I'll just watch every other part, do all the cleaning, then rinse the engine the best I can. Then after then, I will now I'll pull out this cover, this engine cover, pull it out and now wash it with the what's it called, the sponge and the soap, wash it off the engine. Then I also use that same sponge and now come and clean the intake manifold without sprinkling water there. Of course, the sponge will be wet, but with soap, water, light weight, you use it to just wipe whatever dirt that is there. Then after doing all your cleaning, remember you have to cover some sensitive places with electronic components or units or injectors, not the injectors like the ECU, even the ECU box. Sometimes I do cover it very well too with some plastic leathers. Then after then, you can now remove those leathers and leave the car. That's what I do. If I want to do it, I do it on, like, I wake up on Saturday morning, any weekend I want to. Anytime I want to wash my engine, I do it on weekend. And it means it has to be either Saturday morning or Sunday morning. I'll wash it, leave it. I don't need to leave the bonnet open. Put back everything in order. Most times I disconnect the battery. Sometimes I'll leave the battery. I'll shut the bonnet, close the door, lock the door, and walk away from that car for the next 48 hours. That's what I do. Meaning, if I do it on Saturday morning, the next time I'll switch on ignition of this particular car will be on Monday morning or any time within the week. I'll repeat it. Once I'm done washing the engine bay, I will not touch this car till after 48 hours, not even for 24 hours. Reason why I do this is because no matter how you try to do, there are some places water may enter. And if water enters that place and it's not good for water to be there, I will now go and switch on ignition or start your engine. That's when the harm will be done. It's not just the electrical. Even your clutch, if for a manual transmission, your clutch pressure plate or friction plate or release bearing, water damages them. Or I think at least the release bearing is not good, it damages it. So even if, of course, that plate is mechanical, so no matter what you do, water will find its way into the bear housing. So you just leave it there, it will dry off. So that by the time you start the car, it has dried off and stay as if nothing happened. Now that is how I've been watching my engine bay for many years, all my Peugeot cars, not just this. And I've never had any problem, no electrical or mechanical problem as a result of water ingress or whatever in the engine bay. Now, I don't know about you. For me, it's easy for me to not to use the car for 48 hours after washing the engine bay. Sometimes a week after. I will not even touch the car until 7 days or 8 days after. Reason being that I have other cars. So if I wash engine bay of one of them, I have other ones I can use. So I could just leave that one. Because I may not even use it, like I said, the next Monday morning. So if that you have only one car, so in that case, if you do it on Saturday morning, most likely by Sunday morning it will dry off. Or if worst case, you leave it You're not going to die or anything. No, nothing bad is going to happen if you don't use your car for 2 days. I don't know why people actually behave as if, or it's inevitable. You can't do without the vehicle. As if from your birth you've been driving you've owning or driving a car. You just got. I mean, come on, you got that car, whatever. Before you were using that, before you bought that car, were you not existing? So I don't understand why people think that because they got a car, they no, they can no longer do with that vehicle. You can park your car and without even using a car for 1 week. It will not die. Your business will not crumble. So you can leave it for 2 days if you can. Or worst case, at least by the next morning, if you do it very early on Saturday morning, by Sunday morning, it's expected that the water will dry off. Of course, you are not pouring half a drum or a full drum of water in your engine bay. That's why you are not supposed to use that what high pressure jet wash or water pump in your engine bay. So was safer. That's how I do it. I don't know. Maybe there could be other way other people do it that is safer, or other ways you do it that is safer. Now I know a lot of people do it and they will claim, oh, they've been doing it since 1914 and nothing has happened to their cars. But I bet you, somebody who is in this business or being in auto industry in terms of repairs, you have no idea what people go through just because they wanted to wash their engine bay. Probably for the first time, some will end up spending close to 200,000 naira before that car will start, just because they washed the engine bay. There are cases where even people order for a vehicle and the vehicle we are on in the process, we are in transition when they are bringing the vehicle to or delivering it to the owner, the new owner. The person that is bringing the car will just, oh, let me go enter a car wash and wash it so I look very clean. Only for the car to now refuse to start. That's one that happened. It was just few kilometers to the place of the owner. He was supposed to go and deliver the car. He just drove in there. He wanted the car to look like a brand new vehicle. Yet it's a used car. Then I watched all the engine bay, clean, scrub everything out. Guess what? The thing affected the engine ECU. The car slept there for like 1 week before eventually they got ECU that could work and start the vehicle. Imagine how frustrating it can be to the owner, the person that was waiting for you to bring the car, only for you to go and mess up the entire thing. The car he hasn't even driven, he started spending money. So, guys, stop trying. I mean, another thing is, who are you even trying to impress? Yes, it feels good to open your bonnet and see how clean it is, but it makes no sense to go and damage it because you want people to be seeing your engine to look very, very new. For me, within those 4 6 months that I don't wash my engine bay, what I usually do sometimes, if I open it and if it look too dusty, I just get a dry rag, dust off some of those dust, and keep using the car until when I'm ready to do a proper cleaning or wash. Or you could take it to where they do steam wash and they do it without damaging or flooding your engine. Now, the reason why I pointed out that you need to understand the engine first to know which part of the engine to cover before you start washing your engine. For example, on EW engines, basically almost all EW engines, around that thermostat housing, there is a gap or a space between the thermostat housing, or more like between the intake camshaft side chamber and the exhaust camshaft chamber. That is the gap where the what's it called, the spark plugs and the ignition coil are located, more like the ignition coil chamber. So that gap, when you are watching, if you are watching EW engine, any of them, not just EW10J4 or EW10, if you are watching them, you find out that water sometimes will go to will come while you are watching and spray water. It will flow from the third thermostat housing on top of radiator housing, and then flow into that ignition coil chamber or spark plug chamber. It will flow there and go and flood that place. Now what happens is it will penetrate and settle on the ignition, no, on the, yeah, on the spark plugs. Sometimes it may even affect your ignition coil and damage it. But mostly you go and settle on the ignition spark plugs. When you try to start the car will be misfiring. Sometimes it may not even start because water has flooded that place. So you will have to remove all the plugs and get rid of that water before you start. So in that case, you have to find, before you even start washing the engine, you must block that hole between the thermostat housing, the intake camshaft chamber, and the exhaust camshaft chamber. You see a small passage where water can actually flow from that thermostat housing into that place. If you don't do that, you stand a chance of losing that ignition coil, or you have to engage a mechanic to now come and work on your, pull out your ignition coil, pull out your spark plug, pull out the water before the engine will run very well. You don't want to do that. So you need to understand, there are people that even use fuel to wash their engine. That one is, as you are doing it, it dries up faster. So you won't have it's because fuel is more like a spirit. So as you are doing, it's drying up. Back then, when we are using 504 in the 80s and early 90s, that's what we were using. Fuel. Just use it, clean it, and everything goes clean again. You know. So, well, it's up to you, however you want to do it. But don't go and incur expenses because you want your engine to look new to impress people. If you want to wash your engine, then wash it because you want to impress yourself. You want it to look good to you, not to every other person. Yes, those people may be telling you that they do it, it doesn't affect their problem, it doesn't affect their engine, their electronics. That's what they will tell you. Most people, how do they even know the issues? Some don't even know their car have issues. They will tell you there's no problem with their vehicle yet until an expert or somebody that knows how to spot problem drive the vehicle will be like, what are you saying? This car that moves like a car that is being dragged from behind, you are saying there's no issue with it. You put the switch, put your scan to, you see all kinds of faults. All the sensors are almost likely dead. Just because the car could start and move, it means the car has no problem. The fuel consumption will be on the high increase, and yeah, the person doesn't even know that the car is consuming fuel. So many things. So don't ever listen to people when they tell you, I've been using this car, I've been using this car for many years, no problem, you have no issues. That's what they will tell you until you go and do it, and then you find out that you made the wrong choice. Like I said, go and look for user manual. Almost all Peugeot cars, they especially the modern ones, they warn people should not use or wash their engine bay anyhow. Or if go and look out for that sign, this is it. If you see it, you understand what it means. But even without that sign, you should know. If you are washing a 504, it's a different thing, like the SN1 engines, all those fuel carbureted engines. Oh, come on, they are purely mechanical. You won't really bother about all these things. But these ones, EFI ones, come on, guys, be very careful. So I hope this makes sense to you. If it doesn't, well, you do what you gotta do. It's your vehicle. If it has any problem, you don't need to bitch about it and complain how Peugeot cars are unreliable. You created it. Mine, for many years, I've been using all my cars. I don't have all these issues. Even fuse. Never changed any fuse in any of my Peugeot cars, including the 505. You see, it's even very funny. Even the 505 that came in with issue, up till now, not touched any fuse there. What to think of these ones? So, guys, if you are, I don't know. That's all I can say.